What is going on, family? Back again for another video. Something caught my eye recently. Airbnb is going for an IPO. And normally I don't invest in IPOs. I think IPOs are extremely dangerous investments because you're basically investing in a company that has no real history, in the sense that, with like a company that's already public, that's already been around for a while, it has a history online. You can go to Yahoo Finance or MSN Money or a number of sites and look at their history for the past 5-10 years or however long they've been public. But with an IPO, you're kind of like going into a dark house, so to speak. From my experience, a lot of IPOs are overpriced. And after that initial rally, that initial excitement of investors buying in, the stock usually dives down in terms of share price and underperforms. So I just avoid them because you usually end up just losing money with them. You're kind of going into an unknown realm. And that's not necessarily bad, but from my perspective as a value investor, I like to have investments in companies that have been around for a while, that have shown that time and time again they can make profits, that they can survive in any type of economic climate, depressions, recessions, coronaviruses, tornadoes, floods. I like companies that have a history that shows that they can survive no matter what's happening in the world. An IPO is just like it's just, you just walking in the dark. You really don't know a lot of times. But there's always an exception to the rules. And in this case, I will be taking part in this IPO. I believe that Airbnb is a genius idea. I've always liked the concept of it. It always reminded me of Uber in the sense that you are leveraging people's personal property to make a profit. I mean, you're using a pre-existing infrastructure, and you're just having people utilize their own stuff and making a profit off of what already exists. People already have houses. People already have, it's houses in places all over around the world. Houses, apartments, condos, you name it, garages. And you're basically just letting people use these locations as like hotels, and you just charge a fee, and people book basically through your service to go into these people's houses and apartments or whatever, and they stay in these places as they would a hotel. So it's genius. I mean, I think the concept behind Airbnb is genius, and I think that the company is one of those companies that's going to be around in 50 to 100 years. I mean, it's just a great idea. And so I was reading this article. I meant to do this video like a week or two ago, but I wanted to read this article briefly to talk about it. Airbnb is close to filing to go public in a move that would underscore a surprising rebound for the home sharing giant in the IPO market. The company plans to file IPO paperwork with the Securities and Exchange Commission later this month, laying the groundwork for potential listings before the end of the year. According to people familiar with the matter, Morgan Stanley has been tapped to lead the offering, with Goldman Sachs Group also playing a key role, the people said. There is no guarantee Airbnb will move forward on the expected timeline, in part because of the uncertain timing of the SEC's review process, and since there is no telling whether stocks will still be in favor with investors by the time the company is ready to stage an offering. A listing could take different forms. The company could pursue a traditional IPO, launch a direct listing in which no money is raised, or take advantage of the latest trend of merging with a blank check company. Interesting. Either way, the long-awaited move will bring one of the stalwarts of the sharing economy into the public domain, alongside ride-sharing platforms Uber Technologies and Lyft, and set up the next few months to be an exceptionally busy time for big IPOs. Airbnb was recently valued at 18 billion, down from an earlier valuation of 31 billion. So the rest of the article just talks about what's going on with the IPO and people's perceptions of it, and what they expect to come from it. But I just honestly think that Airbnb is one of those companies that's going to be around for a while. And I've seen some estimates that, some people say the company is worth $38 billion. So in case you don't know what Airbnb stands for, it actually stands for Air, Bed, and Breakfast. Way back in 2007, two entrepreneurs, Joe Geber and Brian Chesky, were living in San Francisco, and every year a design conference came to town, filling up every hotel room. So being tech-savvy entrepreneurs, they thought to themselves, why don't we just rent out our own floor rooms or floor space to guests and charge them? So they went out and purchased 3 airbeds, blew them up, and advertised them on their website that they were available, and they called them Air, Bed, and Breakfast. A week later, they had their first guest, and they charged them like $80. So this was pretty much the birth of Airbnb, which has become a hugely successful and just a blockbuster company in terms of making money, and it's a genius idea. Just think of Airbnb as like what Uber is to the taxi industry. Uber destroyed the taxi industry. Once people could use their own vehicles to go around as taxis and they didn't have to, pay the fees associated with basically renting the taxi every day, that completely destroyed the taxi industry. It was just way more efficient for people to use their own cars and just use the Uber app, and Uber takes a certain percentage and everybody's happy. Well, the same thing with Airbnb. You rent out your house and Airbnb takes a certain percentage. It's genius because you don't have to build a hotel because the infrastructure is already there. People have houses all around the world, so you're just utilizing resources that are already here. You don't have to pay for these buildings to be built. You just take, I think Airbnb takes 3%, correct me if I'm wrong, but they take their percentage, and the person who's running their house out gets that percentage, and everybody's happy. So it's genius. Hotels, restaurants, movie theaters, cruise ships, pretty much any industry that works with people being confined in some sort of small space. All of these industries are coming back. I know right now we're facing the coronavirus epidemic, but there are several companies in phase 3 of doing vaccine trials. I know Moderna was up there, AstraZeneca, and I think Russia actually has an improved coronavirus vaccine out there, whatever that looks like. But my point is, coronavirus isn't going to be around forever, and I think that all of these industries, especially hotels and movie theaters, are coming back. Cruise ships are coming back, and so I think that in the long run, an investment like Airbnb could be a great investment, and so I'm willing to take a risk and see what happens. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Are you interested in the Airbnb IPO? Do you think that the tourism industry and the hotel industries are going to bounce back heavily once a coronavirus vaccine is tested that actually works? Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this class, please subscribe to the channel. We post new classes weekly and all of our content is free. As it costs time, money, and energy to make great content, please consider becoming a sponsor to our channel by visiting www.patreon.com/blackstockinvestor. And if you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. See you in the next video.